We are 20 seconds ahead.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see what we see. Sorry.
No
All
problem.
right. Okay. Very good. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us today. This is the Angryprepper, and this is me being cheap. Her audio might be a tad low, so guys, do me a favor. You're just going to have to listen a little closely. But sorry. Try to monitor what's going on here as well. So, guys, I sound good. How does me being cheap sound? Ma'am, say something. Anything, something.
Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
She's back home. You're good. All right, guys. Like I said, this is going to we're going to have to deal with this. Her audio sounds fine. You sound fine. You sound fine.
Good.
All right, good. So let's get on with the interview. So again, guys, I came across her channel actually by accident. So she just popped up on my YouTube videos to watch, and I came across her channel, and I thought it was pretty interesting because she does prepping from, like the title says, a cheaper aspect or a frugal aspect, if you will, for people who don't have money looking to save. This was an interesting channel that caught my eye, and it was actually the name of her channel that caught my eye, being that it said me being cheap. I thought that was pretty good. So enough of me ranting. Let's get on with the interview.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
So I have to ask, what is your this is not the first question, but it's a question nonetheless. What is your opinion on the election?
I'm a little disappointed. I'm not surprised.
Okay. All right.
I wish it went the other way.
Right. I think we were all. Yeah, you sound fine on this specific. Yeah, I was. I think most people were disappointed. I definitely wasn't surprised. I was more disappointed by the process of things that are going on. That's what I was disappointed by. Again, never surprised the with the Democrats, if you will, or the cheating. It's not a new thing. So, how long have you been prepping?
I have been prepping since I was a little kid. I was in the Girl Scouts, and that's one thing that they taught us. And the Girl Scout motto is be prepared. So, in a way, I've always been prepping.
Okay, all right. Well, how far did you make it in the Girl Scouts? I don't know the rank, so you know.
I made it up to the end of the Junior Scouts, and then I actually moved somewhere that didn't have any scouting, so I did not finish.
Okay. Okay, someone said turn my mic down, so let's crack it down a little bit. All right. So you didn't finish. So what inspired you to prepare?
Well, back probably about 10, 11 years ago, I ended up getting a divorce, and I was faced with a couple financial emergencies, and I did not feel very good about that, knowing that I was a single mom with two little kids. And at that time, extreme couponing was the thing, and so I decided to get into that. Started doing some stockpiling back then, and just have kind of worked with it ever since.
Oh, very good. Do you still do extreme couponing?
I do not.
Okay. Was that how do I say this? Was that becoming like a fad for a lot of people, you think? Or were people legitimately doing it to feed their family?
I think fad. I think people were doing it to feed their family. I think a lot of people got away from it though because the stores around here quit doing the deals.
All right.
Kroger, they no longer double coupons. Walmart wasn't doing price matching, and so it wasn't worth it.
Oh, so I guess the bigger stores caught on to it. Is that pretty much what
Yeah.
happened?
Hmm.
Okay. So I mean, it is safe to say that a lot of the influencers ruined it for everyone else, if you will.
I think so.
Okay. That's what it sounds like, and that sucks. But I get, it is what it is.
It's
So,
probably the show on TLC that really ruined it.
oh, that's right. I forgot about that show. Yeah, you're right. Did you watch that show?
I did.
Okay. It's okay. Yeah, I saw a couple episodes. I thought it was like a lot of work, and I was like, no, thank you. So that's interesting. It's interesting that a lot of things are secrets, and then people exploit it, if you will, and then everyone loses out once somebody, exploits it. So that sucks. I mean, that really sucks. So when did you start YouTube?
About 4 years ago.
And did you start it with the extreme couponing, or was it prepping?
I actually started as a mortgage paydown channel. So I had followed the Dave Ramsey plan with getting out of debt, and the last step in my debt-free journey was to pay off the mortgage, and I decided to do it as fast as I could. And so I went on extreme budget, tried to save money on everything, and then just threw all the extra money towards the mortgage. I had an original goal of paying the mortgage off in 3.5 years, and I did it in 2.5 years as a single mom.
Very good. Wow. I think Financial Prepper's on here, by the way, guys. We're interviewing next week. Financial Prepper and me being cheap should definitely, like I said, get together and do a live stream. That would be cool. That would actually be cool because again, he deals with finances, so that would be a cool thing for you two to do a live stream together. Just a thought. So,
Oh,
I saw your video today on the canning of cream cheese, which I didn't know
yes.
you can do. But when you said you would never do it again, that you wouldn't can it again, sorry. Was there a better way to do that, or is that just the end result whenever you can cream cheese?
I lost you there for a second.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you just blanked out. You just blanked out.
So
So,
you were asking if there was a better way to can the or to preserve the cream cheese.
yes.
Not that I have found, although I have recently ordered a freeze dryer. So there's about a 10-week wait time on the freeze dryer. So when it comes in, I'll probably try freeze drying some.
Okay. All right. Wow, freeze dry. So you can freeze dry cream cheese?
No, I just can the cream cheese straight from the grocery store.
Okay. All right. But you said you got a freeze dried machine coming, right?
I do.
And you said you're going to try to freeze dry cream cheese.
Yes.
That's a brave move. That's a really brave move. So, do you garden?
Yes.
How long
Yes, I do.
How long have you been gardening for?
More than 20 years.
Wow. So, do you take your produce or whatever you produce in your garden? Do you wind up canning a lot of that?
Yes.
Very good. So, what gardening tips would you have for beginner gardeners, being that you've been in it 20 years? That's a long time.
Get your soil tested professionally. Most cooperative extension offices, which are at the county level, will do a soil test for a minimal amount of money.
Okay.
It's very important. And they will tell you what you need to put in your soil and how much of it you need to put in there according to your garden size.
Okay. All right, guys. So she is going to be lagging a little bit. Again, it's I guess the cell signal in her area. So she might be bouncing in and out, but I haven't lost her yet on the Skype end, which is good. So just giving you guys a fair heads up. So, was your area where you are, how badly was it affected by COVID? Or COVID rules, if you will?
It was April where they stopped a lot of the lockdown and we kind of started opening things back up. But my kids were actually home for the first day today. They, in our area, closed some of the schools down again, back down on doing homeschool.
Oh, so they're back to doing homeschool again?
Yes, as of today.
Do they enjoy the homeschool, learning at home, or not really?
They tolerate it. They'd rather be at school with their friends.
I think most kids. Do. I think my daughter is starting to hit that peak right now, if you will, where she wants to go back to school. Because I think she's tired of us. But and she's on here tonight, so she's probably gonna run in here and tell me that's not true. Whatever. So, what do you think then? What do you think will come from the second wave? Should there be one?
I think there's going to be more rules, more things taken away from us.
That's an easy way of putting it. Jory, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. And as far as them taking away more or putting more restrictions on, what do you think those restrictions might be, and what added or what more freedoms are they going to take away, do you think?
I think they're going to start limiting church services. I think they're going to start limiting more of the social gatherings. They're going to want them outside, which here in Kansas is not possible in the wintertime because it's very cold. And I think eventually, at least for the kids, I think that they may start requiring some vaccinations. I don't know. I'm a healthcare worker. I'm a nurse. And so I have to wonder if maybe they will make the vaccine mandatory for healthcare workers when they come out with it.
Well, yeah. So I know that in a couple states, they're doing it by phases with the vaccine. And I know that right now in New York State, it's on a volunteer base. Though, I don't know if nurses and doctors are going to be forced, because I think what they're going to do, like they do with the flu vaccine, is if you don't take the flu vaccine, you have to wear a mask around the hospital, nurse or doctor. I think they're going to do the same with COVID for the nurses and the doctors. But I think they're going to be a little more strict with it and probably threaten jobs, I think. As far as Jory, do me a favor, ask that question towards the end of the night. We're going to open it up 2 questions at the end, but the short answer, yes, I am, and I think a lot of people are. So I have to ask, do you own firearms?
I have some for hunting.
Oh shit. Okay, so being that you're a hunter, how long have you been hunting?
Not very long. This is my first season.
Oh, okay. Very good. Well, at least you're doing something about it. So, being that this is your first season, have you killed anything yet? And if you have, what was it?
My husband, who is not a new hunter, he did get a deer this year.
Okay, very good. Uh, Deer meat. Oh, I mean, obviously, depending on the size of the deer, it's going to yield X amount of meat. But I mean, even a decent sized buck, it's going to give you probably through the winter, if not even in the spring. Depends on how you eat and how you incorporate it into the rest of your meals. I'm looking to get a deer myself this year. That's like on my list of things to do. So, what is your biggest fear when it comes to prepping?
I am mostly worried about food shortages, food insecurity, and the cost of food going through the roof.
Okay, good. Since you brought that up, do you see a food shortage starting in your area?
I do.
How bad has it gotten? Well, no, scratch that. Um, is it getting bad or is it holding?
It's holding. There's been a lot of times where I've gone to Walmart and there's things that I've needed and it wasn't there that week, but then maybe the next week it was there. But anytime you go, there's a lot of empty shelves, or you see the shelves and everything is pushed towards the front and not a lot behind it.
And it's funny. Then that means all the stores are doing it nationwide, no matter what the chain is. I've seen the same thing in Target. I've seen the same thing in. We have supermarkets out here called Associated and Bravo. Those are more. I hate to say it this way, but those are more ghetto, inner city, minority area supermarkets. Like you won't see a Bravo. At least I haven't seen a Bravo Associated. It's in like a white neighborhood, if you will. But those supermarkets, it's the same thing with the food, and the shelves are starting to look more bare. So they try to push it up, but you can't help to look behind it and go, man, there's no food back there anymore, or there's only 3 rows of can stacked too high instead of 3. They even try to shorten the shelves, made them close together so it looks like there's more food. I noticed that 2 weeks ago. But what do you think, or how do you think this food shortage is going to play out, being that there's a possible trucker strike coming up?
I have no idea. I have no idea how this is going to play out.
That's a good answer. I mean, it's a good answer considering you're saying you don't know versus like, someone would be like, well, you know what I think, and then they go in a tailspin. Me neither. I mean, I just heard about the trucker strike yesterday or 2 days ago, and people were like, it's coming, it's this, it's that. I got to do more research on it, but I there's a Facebook page that's like called Stop the Truck Wheels or something like that. Hashtag Stop the Truck Wheels. I thought that was that's pretty interesting. That's evident that that's happening. That truck strike's coming. So, do you have a bug out bag?
Yes.
And if so, since you said yes, do you have for everyone in your family, and do you guys know how to use everything in the bag?
I have one for everybody in the family. So we have 4 of us here. And there are some things that we need to practice on. We just got our first ham radio in tonight. And so we are studying to take the test. We were going to take the ham radio, they call it technician class license. We were going to take the test earlier, but then COVID happened. And they weren't doing any of the classes, and they weren't doing any of the testing. They're still not doing any of the classes, but there are some testing sites that open up on a appointment basis. So we are studying on our own.
Okay. No, I mean, that's very good. All right, guys. So, again, this is me being cheap. Could you do me a favor? Head over to her YouTube channel, like and subscribe. Again, I think her videos are spot on when it comes to trying to save money or do it on a budget, if you will. That sounds better. But I think you guys will enjoy her channel. I mean, I'm getting a kick out of it. I get a kick out of a lot of the YouTubers, the smaller YouTubers, such as Me Being Cheap, Prepping Outside the Box. Everybody I've interviewed, I've gotten a kick out of their YouTube channel. Not saying that it's amusing by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that these people have a lot of information to offer, and they need to be heard. So, okay, so now in the area you live in, at what point do you bug out if things got bad in your neighborhood?
I don't anticipate that they will get very bad here. I am in a rural area, and I'm at least an hour away from a major city. Our major city is not very large at all. So we're talking 500,000 people, largest city. I'm not anticipating things to get bad here.
Well, that's good for you. You can look outside your window and be like, we're safe here. I could look outside my window and go, well, first of all, you look outside my window, it's an alleyway facing another building, but you just listen to the things that are going on here in New York City. My wife was on Citizens app, and she went through all the notifications, and yesterday, I guess, might have been the day that she got the most notifications. So in case you don't know what a Citizen app is, guys, Citizen app is an app that lets you know the crime or emergencies that are going on in your neighborhood. So since we've had Citizen app and the COVID lockdown started, there's been notifications out the ass, the wazoo, just like left and right. Yesterday, I think we hit a high of 25 notifications in our area, never mind the rest of the city. So that's just telling us in itself that the city's actually getting bad. And I'm going to do like an update video, if you will, probably in the next week, because there's a lot going on here in the city, and the crime is getting so much worse. Leaving is starting to. It has to be the right move, if you will. It's not much of a choice. So, you guys we're going to take a technician class for your ham radio. You said the technician class. Is the technician class the first, I guess, level?
Yes.
Yeah? Then what's the
Yes.
last level? What is that, a specialist or something?
I don't know. I haven't gotten that far.
Okay. Right, because I'm looking to take the class online starting next week, and then hopefully they let me take it online, because I know some places are letting you take it online as of right now, and I think if you take it online right now, it's the move, because stay home and do it instead of driving 500 miles, or in my case, it was probably like 100 miles to go take ham radio operator's test, which I don't even want to take it to begin with, but being everything that's going on, I have to grow up and take the test. So what is your prediction for the rest of this year?
A lot more shutdown. I think things are going to get locked back down. I think the kids are all going to be at home. I think the parents that went back to work, I think they're going to be back at home. I think we're going to see more sick people. I know in my area here in Kansas, a lot of the hospitals are at capacity right now with COVID, and I'm starting to know more and more acquaintances that are sick with it. They're not very sick, but they are sick. They are testing positive. So I think there's going to be a lot more lockdowns, a lot more restrictions on what we can do.
It's funny. Here in New York City, not funny, but they keep, now that less people are dying here in New York, now that the less people are dying here, they keep beating the drum of, the infection rate's going up. I'm like, okay, but what does the death rate look like? And the death rate now is like extremely low in comparison to a few months ago. The media yesterday, says that we hit 10 million cases of COVID, and they used the word grim. Now, here's my issue with the whole thing. They used the word grim to scare more people into something, yes, that is real, but not as bad as at least this round, it's not as bad as it was. And the thing what pisses me off about the most about it is they keep saying 10 million people or 10 million cases. Well, then say 10 million cases overall, but let's talk about the active cases, the people that are actually sick, which might be across America, might be 50,000, right? Which is, again, not a big number considering how many people are here in the United States. I think by them using the number, 10 million people in the United States, that's grim numbers, I think is absolute BS. We shouldn't be totaling all the numbers to make it look like 10 million people are sick when it's not the case. And the problem is, someone just said forget media. The problem is too many people listen to the media. And now look at the boat we're in, right? People are willing to listen to anything right now. Listen, I mean, I get it. I was out working during COVID, and there were a lot of people, at least older people, dying from it. But I think that by beating the drum of fear, it's going to make it worse. But I don't know. I don't know if it matters at this point because so many people believed it. All right, so when it comes to prepping, what were the mistakes you made and how did you learn from them?
That's a hard question. I would say I think some of the things that I canned. They always say store what you'll eat and eat what you store.
Right.
There were some things that I canned and some things that I bought that probably I won't eat.
Really? What do you think you'll do with it?
If worst comes to worst, I'll feed it to my chickens for chicken food.
Okay. You don't have any dogs? Oh, you don't have any dogs to give it to?
No dogs.
That's an easy disposal machine right there. Just give it to the dogs.
Yep, I have chickens, and the chickens are awesome. They'll eat anything.
All right. Thank you for that. Being that you have chickens, how many eggs do they lay, and how often? Because I have no clue.
Okay. So an average chicken breed, some lay a little bit more, some lay a little bit less, but on average about 200 eggs per year.
Oh.
And most of those are laid during the spring and the summer because as the days get shorter and there's not as much daylight, they stop laying.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense. 200 eggs. Wow. 200 fresh eggs a year would be nice. So, I guess we'll switch gears. Being that you are a female on YouTube, has the hate or the disrespect grown, or is it about the same?
It's about the same, and most of the haters point out comments as to like how dirty my bathroom is. Like I did a video on which of the cleaners works best for cleaning a dirty bathtub, and I had let it get very dirty, and there was some hate on that one.
Oh, well.
People saying, I can't believe you're still.
All right. Well, listen. I mean, just a fair warning, and I tell everyone, all the small channels, when you get big, when you blow up, when you start getting more people, you're gonna get more assholes. And you just deal with it, and you ignore them. Usually, when you ignore them, they go away. They're like flies. After you just stop paying attention to them, they leave you be. So, in your opinion, what is the difference between homesteading or homesteader and a prepper?
I think in a way, all homesteaders are preppers, but not all preppers are homesteaders.
Very good. And that's probably, and you're right. But I think more, but like me personally being a prepper, my end game is to be a homesteader, but obviously I need a house. Can't do this shit in an apartment. But That's my end game. I would hope most preppers' end game is to be a homesteader. But if you're a homesteader, there's no need to be a prepper, right? 'Cause you already got your game plan. So, this is a moral question. There's no right or wrong. If you heard this question before, you are in a shit hit the fan scenario. You're bugging out, and as you're walking, you come across a obvious prepper stash, right? What do you call it? Like an emergency prepper stash, right? And a cache. Do you take it or do you leave it?
If I need it, I would take it. And actually, I have been faced with this situation before.
Really?
I was on an overnight hike, an overnight camp, and I had brought what I thought was plenty of water. I had brought water filtration device, but as we were hiking, there was no water, and we were running out of water. And came to a crossroads, and somebody had stacked up some bottles of water, and I took some of it. And I don't know if somebody was putting it there for their through hike, their hike that they were doing, or if it was trail angels leaving it there because they knew that people would run out of water. But we didn't have any, and we were very thirsty, so we did take some of the water. We didn't take it all. We just took enough to fill up our bottle.
Very good. And I've heard those stories, not stories, but I've heard, like, especially in the app. This on the? No, it's not on the Appalachian Trail. Too far away from it. But on the Appalachian Trail, they do something like that. But right, but to be fair, what happens is a lot of people will start with their packs. They'll probably get 10 miles in, and they're like, screw this, and they start dumping stuff and they leave them on the side. And some people do wind up using them. They also do, along the Appalachian Trail, there's these facilities called AMC, Appalachian Mountain Club. And they have these facilities along the way, and people will leave gear there that they don't need anymore, that they don't want, and hikers usually use them. So there's one facility up here in Jersey. By the time hikers get to that point, there's very little gear to give away, if you will, because people don't, you gotten that far, you're not getting rid of anything, you got what you needed. Billy Bird, I do not need a shaving fun. I hate shaving as it is. I shave because work, and then I shave because I have to. But I'm not a big fan of it. So, being that you can, and you can a lot, what is your advice, especially to somebody like me, who's never canned before, looking to can, or is a beginner canner?
I always recommend pressure canning because if done properly, there's less room for error. With the water bath canning, you always have to make sure that your jars are sterilized, and you have to make sure that the food in it has a high enough acid content. There's more room to make an error with water bath, so I always recommend pressure canning.
Now, would you? So you can pressure can everything, right? But you can't water bath everything. Is that right?
That is correct. Now, there are some things that you would not want to pressure can, such as pickles, because if you pressure can a pickle, it would be really mushy.
Okay. All right. So then that's a water bath thing, I guess, right? And now,
Yes.
I know that some people actually put it in their bathtub, but what would that actually consist of? Would that consist of putting it in temperatured water that you would use in a bath, or how does that work?
To water bath can something,
Yes.
your jars would be in a large pot on the stove, and then the large pot would be full of water, and the water would be over the tops of the jars and boiling.
Okay. All right. And then that's it? That's as simple as that?
Yes, and depending on what you're canning, it's probably going to be 10, 15 minutes if you're doing something like pickles. Pickles, it might be a little bit less, but like jams, jellies, it may be about 10 minutes.
Okay. I mean, I listen. I've been wanting to can, but I've been, I guess, dragging my feet about it because I'm like, what do I start with? And Autumn Backyard Garden told me what to start with, and sure enough, I forgot as soon as I we got off the live stream. But I was gonna start with something like soup, no noodles, and try from there. Ron Hopper, I do have the Ball's Canning Jar book. Yeah, I bought the book a while back. And I just so happened to find it. And anyway, I bought the book. I do have it, and maybe I should just crack it open instead of like procrastinating. Maybe that would be the move, if you will. So, listen. Let's see. We are in the question phase, well, just about, but we're in the question phase. So, real quick. I'm sorry, guys. So the usual shout out. Autumn's backyard. Oh, Autumn's backyard garden said frozen vegetables is what I should start with first. Thank you, ma'am, for reminding me. Autumn backyard garden prepper now, prepping outside the box. Can you head over to their YouTube channel if you haven't already? Like and subscribe to their channel. These people are good preppers. They have great advice. All of them, including me being cheap, are looking at it from a different aspect. They're tackling it from a different aspect, if you will. And some of the cases I would never in a million years thought of. So it's good to open your prepper horizon, if you will, and entertain different ideologies. I think, again, talking to Autumn's Backyard Garden, me being cheap, canning is now looking like the thing that I just need to be doing all the time. But again, I need to make time and I need to stop procrastinating because I am terrible at that when it comes to doing something like that. All right, so guys, we're going to open up to questions now. If you have any questions for me being cheap, not me, for her, by all means ask. You can ask me some other day, but today it's about the guest. All right, so Carol asks this question. I think you already answered it, but please entertain it one more time. What made you become a prepper?
I went through a divorce and I had two small children and had a couple financial emergencies and really realized that I need to get my stuff together and be prepared financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, in all realms.
Well, all right. I hope that answered your question. Someone just said something about deep freezers. I'm not going to answer that question today. Again, it's not about me. It's about her or the guest. So moving forward, guys, when I ask you to ask questions, ask them in all caps and ask them for the guest, not me. I will not answer any questions today. If I do a live stream Friday, ask all the questions you want. So, someone asked, is canning worth it? That's by Cheryl Ann.
Yes, if you have a source of things to can, such as your own vegetable garden, or I did a video recently on some meat that I picked up really cheap, it is worth it to can it.
Okay, very good. Oh, this is a question from me. Would you can deer meat after you shot it or whatever? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so someone asked this question. Mickey V. Have you ever dehydrated cheese slices or grated cheese? Ugh.
I have not.
Would you try it?
I might. I would be maybe more inclined to try it in my freeze dryer when it arrives.
Oh, very good. I wish I had room for a freeze dryer. I really don't. Okay. Again, not for me. Not going to ask that. So someone asks, have you been having issues? Have you been having issues with canning supplies or finding canning supplies?
Yes, every time I go into the store, I look and the shelves are empty. However, last year, before we had any problems, I saw on Facebook Marketplace that there was this lady selling a bunch of canning jars for really cheap, so I bought those. And then when COVID first happened and they sent out the stimulus check, there was a lady on Craigslist that was selling a whole bunch of jars and reusable canning lids, and I bought all of those. And I'm really glad I did because I had enough to do what I needed to do.
Okay, very good. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this question is for me, but I'm asking you this question. What do you think of spam, and do you like it?
It's okay. It's okay. I'd eat it.
Okay, well, very good. Better you than me. Um, so how did you find out about canning? This is from Ian Sose. Ian Sose.
I've been doing it since I was a kid. I grew up with my mom who did it.
Oh wow. Okay, very good. Is she dehydrating food yet? Bugs. I'm pretty sure. Someone asked, "Are you dehydrating food yet?"
Yes.
Oh, you are. Okay. So you have a dehydrator. What kind is it?
It is a Nesco.
Okay. And then the Nesco is the round one, right? The round looking one. Okay.
Yes.
Because I was looking at these.
It works just.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
I was looking at the Excalibur. I think that's the rectangle one with the shelves. I was,
Yeah.
I was looking at that, but I don't have any room for that either. And if I get it, I'm pretty sure my wife's going to kill me because we don't have room for it. But if it adds to the preps, it adds to the preps. Okay, so someone, Melinda H is asking, do you like reusable canning lids?
So far, yes, I do. I've had a few failures in the canner, but I think that's my fault. There is a little bit of a learning curve. So I'm still learning with those, but so far I do like them.
How how big of a learning curve for someone like me, for example?
The biggest learning curve is you have to actually tighten the jar and then back it off about a half turn. And sometimes I think maybe I back it off a little bit too much or not enough. And they actually make a tool, it's almost like a torque wrench for canning jars. And I think I just need to get one of those to make sure I get the right amount of pressure on it.
Oh, okay. So if I tighten it too tight, I have to go back half a turn
On the reusable lids,
on the reusable
yes.
lids. Okay. Now, can you can without the reusable lids with a regular lid?
Yes, you can with the ball lids or the Golden Harvest lids. They're just, you can't find them this year.
Okay, because I received a case of jars from Target. So I thought they were sending me Balls jars. One, two. I thought they were the lids with the band, and it wind up just being a whole lid. And I'm looking at this thing like, damn it, man, can I use this or can I? So you answered my question, so I guess I can, because I was ready to just fill them up with rice or something and throw them in the closet. But if I can use them for canning, that's pretty good. Okay, so now why? So someone, Mark Chase, is asking you this question: why would someone into preparedness want to move to Kansas? Okay.
Kansas is awesome. I am a transplant from Arkansas. That's where I grew up, and I love Arkansas, but I really like Kansas. The people are awesome here. The people are awesome.
Oh, okay, very good. I mean, I don't know. As far as moving goes, I would definitely. I think she dropped the phone. Oh, she's back.
Somehow my camera switched around. Can you see me now?
I can see you now. I can see. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
What do you?
The other I would say about moving to Kansas is there's a lot of small towns and you can get away with a lot of stuff in the small towns. So I live in a town of about 1,100 and I am on 3 city lots, which is about a half an acre,
Okay.
and I have chickens, I have quail, and I have rabbits. And so you can get away with a lot of stuff like that in a small town.
Wow. Quail and rabbit. Now, do you have a rabbit farm, or you just have like a couple of rabbits?
Just a couple rabbits, and then they breed, and then you raise up the babies, and then you can eat those.
Just like that, huh? Okay. Wow. I mean, I listen. I love rabbit. I think it's great, but as far as like breeding them, raising them, and then processing them, I don't know. We'll see. I might be doing rabbit hunting, later this year. So who knows? Like I said in my last live stream or one before last, I'm not a big fan of like killing animals, though I know it's a necessity and a needed skill, if you will. But I'm not a big fan of it. All right, guys. So Andrew Julian Prepping for Life. That's another YouTube channel you guys should head over to. Andrew, you're watching. Do me a favor, put your link in the. Actually, everyone who I mentioned tonight, do me a favor and put your YouTube channel link in the chat room, if you will, just so that it's easy for people to link to, if you will. Small town in Kansas sucks. I guess Julian lives out in Kansas somewhere. He's not a big fan of the little apple. Yeah, because he's like, all right. So, someone asks, Up Tech Extreme asks, how's the snow? I guess. I know you did a video. You showed snow outside your window.
Yes, we had snow in October, and when I first moved up into Kansas in the 90s, we had a lot of snow and a lot of blizzards, but we don't get that much these days.
Really?
I don't think it hardly snowed at all last year. It just gets cold.
Okay. Listen, what do you think is better, cold or I would say extreme snow?
I guess I'd have to say cold because I would want to have to deal with the shoveling of the extreme snow. So I'd say cold. At least you can stay inside.
That is true. I like the snow. At least I like camping in the snow. And the thing is, I think I'm spoiled here in the. Not I think I'm spoiled when it comes to being here in the city because they plow the roads, they plow the walkways. If I get a home or a homestead or something like that, I got to do all of that myself. So exactly. So I think it's better in that aspect to live in the city. That's the one aspect. Just the only good thing about living in the city is everything is done for you. That part, the cleaning up the snow, but everything else I like to do for myself. So someone asked you the lost product. Are you worried about the election results?
I am, but there's nothing I can do about it, so I try not to worry.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. Last night I woke up, or this morning I woke up, sorry, and I was thinking to myself, fuck it, it is what it is. Whichever way the results go, we're going to have to deal with the end result, if you will. At least us in the city are going to have to end up dealing with whatever comes our way. So I thought just wait and see what happens. I know a lot of people are impatient, want to know now. There are other people saying that there's the election is lost. Whatever the reasoning or idea is, it doesn't matter. We're gonna have to pivot and adapt to whatever comes. Like Ian just said, we got to adapt to whatever comes our way. It's the bottom line. All right, guys. Any more questions? Please line it up. Again, in all caps, if you do not mind. So, how do I say? What was the most canning you've done in a day?
Probably about 35 jars with 3 pressure canners going.
Oh, 35 jars of what?
Chicken.
Okay. Chris Williams, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Actually, so, Smith Month. Okay, so Brian Kelly, I have no clue what this means. You might know. He goes, what is your opinion of the Smith-Mundt Act?
I have not heard of that.
Yeah, me neither. I'm new to that. Also, someone brought up a good comment. Have you? I'm assuming Kansas. I mean, I live in New York. I think everyone who lives in Kansas has seen a tornado. Have you experienced and seen a tornado out there?
Yes.
Do you guys have a storm shelter? Like, I guess a tornado shelter, whatever the hell they're called.
Most of the homes around here either have a basement or a cellar.
Okay.
And if they don't, your neighbor does, and you just go to your neighbor's house.
Really? Just like that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit, okay.
I have a basement. I have a basement.
Oh, okay. Wow, it's just like, oh, my neighbor has one, I'll just run over to his house. I could never imagine. Yeah, I could never imagine thinking like that. That's very good, man. All right, I would not have known to do that. Like if I moved to Kansas and I didn't have like a basement or whatever, I wouldn't have thought, oh, my neighbor, man, he'll take care of us. Like that's just the furthest thinking for me. North Shore Preparedness, man, thank you for the donation. And he also said stack it to the rafter, guys. He's talking about food. Food shortage and the trucker strike combined is definitely going to have something. It's definitely going to have something behind it, if you will. So, like everyone's been saying on YouTube for the last, I don't know, year now, keep prepping, keep moving, keep canning, if you will, keep gardening if you can, if you live in the area where you can still garden. What is your advice to people as far as prepping goes for the rest of this year?
Think about what your resupply plan will be. So for food, you can store food, but what would your resupply plan be? For me, it's have extra seeds and gardening things on hand. And for the meat, I always recommend quail and rabbits. They like to reproduce, and you could have a steady supply of meat without a lot of work.
Okay, so because I'm new to the whole quail thing, quails reproduce just as fast as rabbits, or?
A quail, when it is born, it takes about 6 weeks to get full size, about 8 weeks to be sexually mature. And at 8 weeks, they're laying eggs and mating again. So you can eat them at about 6 weeks, or let them start mating and make new little quail.
Really? Wow.
Lay eggs. You have to incubate.
So, what is your? I have to ask this question. What is your favorite meal with quail or?
What?
What's your favorite meal with quail or rabbit? Like a stew, fried.
I like the quail with bacon, wrapped in bacon.
Really? And what about the rabbit?
Fried.
Fried. Oh, very good. Okay, so David Darko asks, how long will canned chicken last? That's a good question.
I actually haven't done any tests on that because we usually eat it before we have a long time to store it. So I would say a minimum of 3 years, and I bet you could get up to 8 years on it before it started tasting funny.
Really? Wow. Okay, someone also asked this question. Luann York. Can you dehydrate ground beef? I think you can. I don't know.
Yes, if you cook it first. But you need to use a ground beef that is very, very lean, because if you have a lot of fat on it, that fat will tend to go rancid.
Oh, okay. That makes sense, right? So you would have to use 90% like lean, if you will. So Eliza 2020 is asking this question. I think we already we already went over this question, but are you seeing any shortages in stores yet?
Yes. Every time I go to the store, I notice gaps in the shelves. Some things may be there this week, maybe not there the next week. And they're doing things to camouflage, like facing the products towards the front and stacking cans, and you can't see the empty behind it.
It's funny. They do that like we can't see. Like we're blind or something like that. It's the weirdest thing, but I get why they do it. Okay, so lost product 0. He's asking this time, what do you think of people having children at this time? Okay.
Wow, I don't know. Some people thought I was crazy for getting married. I got married back in May, but I think no matter what goes on, people still get married, people still have babies, and people still die. So I think you might as well just continue on with life. Babies are always fun. Babies are good.
They are, and then they grow up and they become these, and then not so fun. Billy Bird Outdoors, do me a favor, ask the question again. There's a lot of questions I'm tooling through, so sorry about that. Ask it one more time. I will have an answer for you. Oh, she will have an answer for you. Sorry. Okay. So Mark Chase, I guess he was talking to me, said small animals like quail can be consumed in one meal. So refrigeration is not necessarily, you don't need a refrigerator in a grid down situation. You agree to that?
That's true.
Yeah? Okay.
That's true. But I typically will butcher in a large batch and put them in the freezer. But in a grid down situation, that is absolutely correct. You can kill them as you need them.
Okay. And see, this is why I do these interviews. I'm learning something new. Not for nothing, I know quail's a small bird, but I also wouldn't have thought to do that. Like keep them around and then cut them up when time to eat them, as opposed to putting them in the freezer. But grid down scenario, you're not going to have that. So maybe it would have dawned on me then, but I wouldn't have thought about that. And the half turn back on the jar, that's something else I learned. I'd be sitting here right now cranking them all the way down, and then destroying my my canning preps. So thank you for that. Actually, thank all you guys for asking these questions. So that it helps. You have to learn something new every day, if you will. And I think if you don't, you're fooling yourself. Okay. I think one of you viewers asked about it. All right, so somebody asked about long-term food storage for pets. North Shore Preparedness has a video on that, whoever asked that question. So head over to his channel and look it up. You'll find it. And while you're there, guys, like and subscribe to North Shore Preparedness. So someone asked a question earlier, how loud are quails? But Mary Cox is saying they're very quiet.
They are.
Okay.
They are during the daylight hours when it's warmer outside. The male will crow, but it's not very loud, and the females really don't make any noise at all.
Oh, okay. All right. So now that's what someone's asking. Billy Bird asked, how do you make your do you make your own shampoo?
No.
Okay.
It's cheaper just to buy something from the Dollar Tree.
Gotcha. And what about detergent and things like that?
I used to make my own detergent, but I found that the homemade stuff just didn't really work very good, and I was having problems with it putting some little grease marks. And I find that if you shop like Kroger when they have it on sale, you can get a thing of Tide for $1.49. And if you actually use the little measuring cup that comes with it and measure the amount that you need instead of filling that cup all the way up, just use what you need. Your detergent will last a long time.
Okay. I know I've made detergent and we've used it. We never had a problem, and I still got like a ton of it left. But Yeah, I've heard that before. People saying that they don't like the way it cleans. So, all right, this is not a question for me. Maybe it's a question. I mean, I think I know the answer to this question for you. But do you make your own probiotics?
Um, we make our own apple cider vinegar. Yes.
Oh, okay. How long does that take? How long does it take to make apple cider vinegar?
About 3 weeks.
Really? Why so long?
It has to it's like a bacteria and yeast combination. It has to convert the sugars over into whatever it is that vinegar is made out of. And I used to make kombucha, but I got away from that. It was taking up too much space.
Okay. All right, very good. All right, guys. So we are at the 1 hour mark. We made it. Southern Belle Teacher said, for those of you looking to make laundry detergent, Prepper Princess has a video on it. So that's where you guys are going to go to look up how to make your own detergent. I'm never going to do a video on it, so forget about it. But I will steer you in the right direction of someone who will. All right, guys. So this has been fun. This is a very interesting live stream because I learned a lot of new shit tonight. But I'm 1,000% sure I'm going to forget in like an hour. But this was a very informative, if you will, live stream. So thank you, ma'am, for being on tonight, and thank you for joining us. And guys, we are going to hang it up now. So don't forget to head over to Me Being Cheap's. Sorry, Jesus Christ, YouTube channel. Sorry, and like and subscribe there. Her link to her channel is also in the comment section below. So, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. Ma'am, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Do me a favor, stay on after I end the stream.
Okay.
All right.